Hello, so we'll see what is happening in this story. Amnesty, a very beautiful story, a really touching story, alright. So we'll see what is happening in the next part of the story. Hello, my dear friends. So now we'll see what is happening in the rest part of the story. Alright. We were not sure what day he would arrive. We only heard on my radio his name and the names of some others who were released. So these people came to know about the news of his release from their radio. But they don't know when is he going to come back. There is no communication between these people. Alright. Then at the Indian store, I noticed the newspaper, The Nation, written by black people, and on the front picture a lot of people dancing and waving. I saw at once it was at that ferry. So when she went to an Indian store, there she happened to see a newspaper, The Nation, which is written by black people. On the front page, she could see a picture of a lot of people dancing and waving at that ferry. Okay, some men were being carried on other men's shoulders because everyone, they were anxiously waiting, eagerly waiting for these people's return. So they were really happy about it. Alright, we were waiting. The ferry had brought him from the island, but we remembered Cape Town is a long way from us. See, these people came to know that, or they understood that this man had come back. Okay, that in that ferry, but these people couldn't meet him because Cape Town is a long way from us. I believe you all remember how this girl had forgotten to get that permit card, and these people were not allowed to go in that ferry to the island, right? അത് ഓർമ്മയുണ്ടെന്ന് വിചാരിക്കണം അല്ലേ, ഇവർക്ക് പെർമിറ്റ് കാർഡ് ഇല്ലാത്തതുകൊണ്ട് ഐലൻഡിൽ പോകാൻ പറ്റാതിരുന്നത്. ആൻഡ് യു റിമെമ്പർ ഹൗ ദീസ് പീപ്പിൾ സേവ്ഡ് മണി ഫോർ 2 years to get in that ferry. Meaning that is not easy for them to move. So these people couldn't go to see or receive him. So they were waiting in their house. They don't know when is he going to come back. Then he did come. Finally, he arrived. On a Saturday, no school. So I was working with my mother, hoeing and weeding round the pumpkins and mealies. My hair, that I meant to keep nice, tied in an old torque. So he came on a Saturday. So since there was no school, everyone was there. Alright, they were working in their farm. Okay. Then a combi means it's a minibus. A minibus came over the veld, and his comrades had brought him. Alright, so he came in a vehicle. I wanted to run away and wash, but he stood there stretching his legs, calling, "Hey, hey," with his comrades making a noise around him. So when she saw him, she really wanted to run away and wash herself, but he wanted everyone to go and hug him. Alright. My mother started shrieking in the old style, "Hey, hey," like that. She started to make sound because she is seeing this mother is seeing that man after a long time. And my father was clapping and stamping towards him. He held his arms open towards this man, this big man in town clothes. Means he has come in a very neat way. Mannerly dressed, decently dressed in town clothes, okay, polished shoes, and all the time while he hugged me, I was holding my dirty hands. I couldn't wash my hands, and he was okay with it. Full of mud away from him behind his back. His teeth hit me hard through his lips. He grabbed at my mother, and she struggled to hold the child up to him because the child hasn't seen her father hasn't seen his child, right? I thought he would all fall down, that everyone was quiet. The child hid behind my mother because the child was afraid to see a stranger. She couldn't recognize her father. He picked her up, but she turned her head away to her shoulder. കൊച്ചിന് അച്ഛനെ മനസ്സിലായില്ല. അപ്പോൾ എന്ത് ചെയ്തു? മറഞ്ഞു നിന്നു. He spoke to her gently, but she wouldn't speak to him. This daughter couldn't recognize her father. She is nearly 6 years old. I told her not to be a baby. She said, that's not him. What is she telling? Kochanda പറയുന്നത് നോ നോ ദിസ് ഇസ് നോട്ട് മൈ ഫാദർ ബിക്കോസ് മൈ ഫാദർ ഹാസ് ചേഞ്ച് ബിക്കോസ് ഹി ഹാസ് ചേഞ്ച്ഡ് എ ലോട്ട് അല്ലേ ഇന്ന് പുതിയൊരു അറ്റയറിൽ പുതിയ ഫിസിക്കൽ അപ്പിയറൻസിലാണ് വരുന്നത് ഹി ഹാസ് ബിക്കം സോ ടഫ് സോ he is not the man who is there in the photograph shown to the child. കൊച്ചിന് കാണിച്ചു കൊടുത്ത ഫോട്ടോഗ്രാഫിലെ ആളെ അല്ല. So the child couldn't understand. Okay, my dear children. Yes. So now he has changed a lot. We'll see what all changes have come over him. You know, there are a lot of physical changes as well as his thought processes have changed a lot. So we'll see what are the changes that this girl has noticed. Alright, he has put on weight, yes, a lot. You couldn't believe it. He used to be so thin, his feet looked too big for him. I used to feel his bones, but now, that night, when he lay on me, he was so heavy. I didn't remember it was like that. This is her style of writing, Nadine Godimas, right? A kind of unsentimental, detached, I should say, right? Even fractured. All these are things that are expressing, say, an extreme, feelings. But how has she expressed? Just see. I didn't remember it was like that. Such a long time. See, such a long time. These are I should tell, fragments, right? Yeah. It's strange to get stronger in prison. She never thought that this man is going to get stronger in prison. She thought that he is going to die of, hunger or of fatigue. I thought he wouldn't have enough to eat and would come out weak. Everyone said, look at him, he is a man now. He laughed and banged his fist on his chest, told them how the comrades exercised in their cells. He would run 3 miles a day, stepping up and down on one place on the floor of that small cell where he was kept. See, that means he was preparing himself for a great movement. He was becoming stronger. How? He was exercising. He was running 3 miles a day in that small cell. ആ ചെറിയ സെല്ലിരുന്ന് അങ്ങോട്ടും ഇങ്ങോട്ടും മുകളിലേക്കും താഴേക്കും ചാടി ചാടി he was running 3 miles a day to be physically strong. And we were together at night. We used to whisper a long time, but now I can feel he's thinking of some things I don't know, and I can't worry him with talk. Though we used to talk, I always noticed, that is what this girl is telling, I always noticed that he is getting lost in thoughts. ഞാനിങ്ങനെ സംസാരിച്ചുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നുണ്ട്, ഇങ്ങനെ വിസ്പർ ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നുണ്ട്, but he is involved in some other thoughts. But now I can feel he's thinking of some things I don't know. എനിക്ക് മനസ്സിലാവാത്ത, എനിക്കറിയാത്ത എന്തിനെ കുറിച്ച് ആൾ ചിന്തിച്ചുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുക. Also, I don't know what to say because he has become so different from the man I saw. In the beginning, ഞാൻ ആദ്യമേ കണ്ട മനുഷ്യനെ അല്ല, ഒരുപാട് മാറിയിരിക്കുന്നു. Physically as well as mentally has changed a lot. To ask him what it was like 5 years shut away there, or to tell him something about school or about the child. What else has happened here? Nothing, just waiting. I don't know what to say. Should I ask him about his 5 years, or should I tell what was my feeling? What was my feeling? Nothing. I was just waiting and waiting and waiting for his return. Sometimes in the daytime, I do try to tell him what it was like for me. Here at home on the farm 5 years. He listens. He is interested. Just like he is interested when people from other farms come to visit and talk to him about little things that happened to them while he was away all the time on the island. See, he will listen to my talk as he listened to other people's talk about general things that has happened in his absence. അവരില്ലാതിരുന്ന സമയത്ത് ഐലൻഡിൽ എന്തൊക്കെ സംഭവിച്ചു എന്നുള്ളത് ആരും വന്ന് പറയുന്നത് പോലെയാണ് ഞാൻ പറയുന്ന കാര്യങ്ങളും ആൾ കേൾക്കാറുള്ളത്. ഹീ സ്മൈൽസ് ആൻഡ് നോട്ട്സ്, ആസ്ക് എ കപ്പിൾ ഓഫ് ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ് ആൻഡ് ദെൻ സ്റ്റാൻഡ്സ് അപ്പ് ആൻഡ് സ്ട്രെച്ചസ്. ഓക്കെ, ഹീ ലിസൺസ് ടു ദ സ്പീച്ച് ആൻഡ് ഹീ നോട്ട്സ് ആസ് ഇഫ് ഹീ ലിസൺസ് Okay, and he'll ask a couple of questions. കുറച്ച് question ചോദിക്കും, and after that he'll stand up, he'll stretch himself. That means it's time for them to leave. ഇങ്ങനെ നമ്മളിങ്ങനെ സംസാരിച്ചുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കില്ല, ആരെങ്കിലും എഴുന്നേറ്റ് ഇങ്ങനെ അങ്ങ് സ്ട്രെച്ച് ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ അതിൻ്റെ അർത്ഥം എന്താ? ഓക്കെ, സംസാരം മതിയാക്കിക്കൊള്ളൂ. That is how he behaves. I see it is to show them it's enough. His mind is going back to something he was busy with before they came. And we farm people are very slow. We tell things slowly. He used to. Even he was like that. അങ്ങനെ ഒരു മനുഷ്യനായിരുന്നു. But now he doesn't find it, he doesn't find enough time to talk and talk because he has so many things in his mind. അവരുടെ മനസ്സിൽ എന്തോ കാര്യമായിട്ടുണ്ട്, അതുകൊണ്ട് അധിക സമയം ഇരുന്ന് സംസാരിക്കാൻ പറ്റുന്നില്ല. ഓക്കെ, ബട്ട് വി ഫാം പീപ്പിൾ, ഞങ്ങൾ അങ്ങനെയല്ല. വി സ്പീക്ക് വെരി സ്ലോലി, വി തിങ്ക് വെരി സ്ലോലി. But he is not. He was like that. പക്ഷെ ഇപ്പം അങ്ങനെയല്ല. He has changed a lot. Okay. He hasn't signed on for another job. But he can't stay at home with us. We thought after 5 years over there in the middle of that green and blue sea sofa, he would rest with us a little while. The combi or some car moves to fetch him and he says, "Don't worry. I don't know what day I'll be back." At first I asked, "What week?" "Next week." He tried to explain to me, in the movement it's not like it was in the union, where you do your work every day and after that you're busy with meetings. In the movement you never know where you will have to go and what is going to come up next week. Alright, so that means he is doing something very serious. സീരിയസ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള വളരെ സീക്രട്ടീവ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള എന്തോ ഒന്നാണ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. So he hasn't signed on for another job. അത് ജയിലിൽ നിന്ന് തിരിച്ചു വന്നു, but he was working in a construction company, right? But now he hasn't signed on for any other job. So he thought, the girl and the other people in the family thought, okay, since he hasn't signed for any other job, he would be with us because he was away from us for 5 years. Alright, so now he is going to be with us. He is going to rest with us a little while. But what is happening? He is not resting with them. He is not staying with them. Instead, a combi would come or some other cars would come. People would come and fetch him. ഇവിടുന്ന് എന്തെങ്കിലും മിനി ബസ്സോ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ കാറുകളോ വന്ന് ഇവരെ കൊണ്ടുപോകുന്ന സമയത്ത് എന്ത് പറയുന്നു? He says, "Don't worry my dear. പേടിക്കണ്ട. I don't know what day I'll be back." എന്നാൽ തിരിച്ചു വരാൻ അറിയില്ല. At first I asked, ആദ്യമൊക്കെ ചോദിച്ചിരുന്നു, "What week?" ഏതാഴ്ച? ദിവസം വേണ്ട. Which day, which week are you coming back? Or with what week? Next week? Next weekൽ വരൂ എന്ന് ചോദിക്കുക. So what is he telling? No, I can't tell that because I'm in a movement. I have joined in the movement of protest against this, against the injustice in South Africa. So it is not as we join in unionil join ചെയ്ത പോലെ. It is much much more serious. Understood? Because I've joined in this movement. In the movement you don't know where will you be, where is your work and what are you going to do. And same with money. പൈസയും അങ്ങനെ തന്നെ. In the movement it's not like a job with regular pay. കൃത്യമായിട്ട് ശമ്പളമുള്ള ഒരു ജോബല്ല മൂവ്മെൻറ്റിൽ ജോയിൻ ചെയ്യാന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ, എന്തെങ്കിലും പ്രക്ഷോഭത്തിൽ ജോയിൻ ചെയ്യാന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ. I know that he doesn't have to tell me. It's like it was going to the island. You do it for all our people who suffer because we haven't got money, we haven't got land. Okay, so she is telling, yeah, I understand, എനിക്ക് മനസ്സിലാവും. And you are doing it for all the people in this island because we are suffering without money, without land and without anything. Okay, he said, speaking of my parents, my home, the home that has been waiting for him with his child. Look at this place where the white man owns the ground and let you squat in mud and tin huts. Here only as long as you work for him. See, here, this is your land, but white men are owning your land. This land is owned by white men and you're working as slaves. See, I have joined in the movement to help to save everyone in this farm. Baba and you, brother, planting his crops and looking after his cattle. See, you are doing everything for this white man. അല്ലേ? ഈ ഒരു വെളുത്ത വർഗ്ഗക്കാർക്ക് വേണ്ടിയിട്ടെല്ലാം ചെയ്യുന്നത് എന്താണ്? ചെടികൾ നടുന്നതും കന്നുകാലികളെ നോക്കുന്നതും അല്ലേ, വീടുകൾ വൃത്തിയാക്കുന്നതും എല്ലാം ചെയ്യുന്നത് എന്തിനു വേണ്ടിയിട്ടാണ്? ബിക്കോസ് ഫോർ വൈറ്റ് മെൻ. Mama cleaning his house, and you in the school without even having the chance to train properly as a teacher. The farmer owns us, he says. Alright. I have been thinking we haven't got a home because there wasn't time to build a house before he came from the island. But we haven't got a home at all. Now I have understood that. Okay. അപ്പോൾ ഇത്രയും കാലം വിചാരിച്ചിരുന്ന് സിൻസ് വി ഡിൻ ഹാവ് ഇനഫ് ടൈം ടു ബിൽഡ് എ ഹൗസ് വി ആർ നോട്ട് ബിൽഡിംഗ് എന്നാണ് ഈ കുട്ടി വിചാരിച്ചിരുന്നത്. ബട്ട് ഇറ്റ് ഇസ് നോട്ട് ദാറ്റ് സിൻസ് വി ഡോണ്ട് ഓൺ എ പ്ലേസ്, വി ഡോണ്ട് ഓൺ എ സ്പേസ് ഹിയർ. നമുക്കൊരു ഭൂമി പോലും സ്വന്തമായിട്ടില്ലാത്തടത്ത് വീടെങ്ങനെ പണിയാം? സോ നൗ ഓൺലി ഷീ അണ്ടർസ്റ്റാൻഡ്സ് എ റിയൽ സിറ്റുവേഷൻ ഓഫ് നോട്ട് ഓണിങ് എ ലാൻഡ്, ഓഫ് നോട്ട് ഓണിങ് എ സ്പേസ് in that farm, of not owning a farm, of not owning anything. ഒന്നും സ്വന്തമായിട്ടില്ലാത്തത് കൊണ്ടാണ് ഒന്നും ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റാത്തതെന്നുള്ള സത്യം this man is teaching her. Okay, now I have understood that. ഇത്രയും കാലം till this man returned, what did she believe? Okay, since there is no time, I couldn't build a house. അല്ലേ, അച്ഛന് സമയം കിട്ടാത്തതുകൊണ്ടാണ് ഈ വീട് പണിയാണ്ടിരുന്നത്. It is not that. It is not the problem at the time. It is problem with the ownership. We don't own anything. That is the problem. Okay, my dear children. I am not stupid. When the comrades come to this place in the combi to talk to him here, I don't go away with my mother after we have brought them tea or beer. They like up here. They talk about our culture, and there is one of them who makes a point of putting his arm around my mother, calling her the mama of all of them, the mama of Africa. What is being told here? See, I'm not stupid, I'm not a foolish girl, I am a grown-up child, I'm a grown-up girl. I can understand things because when these comrades come and talk to him, she makes sure that she is listening to their speeches, she is listening to their discussion, she is there in their discussion. Though she doesn't talk much, she hears, she listens everything that these people talk. Okay, so she never goes away with her mother. Mother would come and give them tea or beer because they like her beer. Alright, and mother would go back after that, but she would not go back with her mother. Instead, she would stay there to listen to their discussion, or listen to their speeches. Alright. So they talk about our culture, and there is one of them who would call her mother as their mother. അല്ലേ, ഞങ്ങളുടെ എല്ലാവരുടെയും അമ്മയാണ്, സൗത്ത് ആഫ്രിക്കയുടെ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ആഫ്രിക്കയുടെ മാമയാണ്, അമ്മയാണെന്ന് പറയുന്ന രീതിയിൽ സംസാരിക്കുന്ന ഒരാളുണ്ടായിരുന്നു എന്ന് പറയാണ്. Okay, sometimes they please her very much by telling her how they used to sing on the island and getting her to sing an old song we all know from our grandmothers. All these things you can identify, because when friends, your father's friends or your brother's friends would come, they would tell, they would tell your mother that the dishes or the food prepared by your mother is like anything like that. നല്ല ഭക്ഷണമാണ് അമ്മയുടെ കൈപുണ്യം സമ്മതിക്കണം, അമ്മ പാട്ട് പാടും, അമ്മേനെ കുറിച്ച് നല്ല ഒരുപാട് കാര്യങ്ങൾ പറയും. In that way, these people, these comrades also spoke about their mother. And this mother would sing a song. Okay, then they join in with their strong voices. My father doesn't like this noise traveling across the world. He is afraid that if the Boer finds out my man is a political from the island and he is holding meetings on the Boer's land, he'll tell my father to go because this land is owned by a white man. And if this white man or the owner of the land, if he comes to know that in his house there are meetings getting held, അല്ലേ, അവർക്കെതിരെയുള്ള മീറ്റിംഗ്സ് നടക്കുന്നുണ്ട് എന്നറിഞ്ഞാൽ വാട്ട് വിൽ ദ ബോവർ ടെൽ? അവരെന്താ പറയുക, വൈറ്റ് മാൻ എന്താ പറയുക, ഗോ ഫ്രം മൈ ഹൗസ് വിത്ത് യുവർ ഫാമിലി, യു ഗോ, അല്ലേ, ടേക്ക് യുവർ ഫാമിലി വിത്ത് യു ആൻഡ് ജസ്റ്റ് ലീവ് ദ ഹൗസ്, അങ്ങനെ പറയും. സോ ഫാദർ ഇസ് ഓൾവേസ് afraid of that. This father doesn't like these kinds of noises getting out from his house. Okay, because he is afraid of that Boer, that white man. Okay, but my brother says if the Boer asks anything, just tell him it's a prayer meeting. If അവർ ചോദിക്കുക, വൈറ്റ് മാൻ ചോദിക്കുക, എന്താണ് നിങ്ങളുടെ വീട്ടിൽ ഒരുപാട് ഒച്ചയും ബഹളമൊക്കെ ഉണ്ടല്ലോ, എന്തെങ്കിലും മീറ്റിംഗ് ആണോ, ഈ ഐലൻഡിൽ നിന്ന് വന്ന ആരോ ഉണ്ടല്ലോ എന്നൊക്കെ ചോദിക്കുകയാണെങ്കിൽ പറയും, no, it's only a prayer meeting. Then the singing is over. My mother knows she must go away into the house. So when the singing is over, mother knows, okay, ഇത് കഴിഞ്ഞു, ഇനി എൻ്റെ കലാപരിപാടി കഴിഞ്ഞു, I should go back. And these people have much more serious things to talk about. I stay and listen. She will not go back. She'll stay there and listen. He forgets I am there when he is talking and arguing about something I can see is important, more important than anything we could ever have to say to each other when we are alone. So see, there is a change in her too. There is a change in her too. She started becoming matured enough to understand his feelings, his thoughts. So she was telling, see, I know whatever these people are telling, all things are really important. Important than whatever we could tell each other. ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് തന്നെ ഇരിക്കുമ്പം ഞങ്ങൾ ഭാര്യയും ഭർത്താവും അങ്ങോട്ടും ഇങ്ങോട്ടും സംസാരിക്കുന്നതിനേക്കാളും എത്രയോ സീരിയസ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള കാര്യങ്ങളാണ് അവർ സംസാരിക്കുന്നത്. ബട്ട് നൗ ആൻഡ് ദെൻ വെൻ വൺ ഓഫ് ദി അതർ കംറേഡ്സ് ഇസ് സ്പീക്കിംഗ് ഐ സീ ഹിം ലുക്ക് അറ്റ് മീ ഫോർ എ മൊമെൻറ്റ് ദ വേ ഐ ലുക്ക് അപ്പ് അറ്റ് വൺ ഓഫ് മൈ ഫേവറേറ്റ് ചിൽഡ്രൻ in school to encourage the child to understand. See, when these people are talking about much serious things, that man would look at this girl as if she should listen and understand the things. അല്ലേ, എങ്ങനെ നോക്കും, മനസ്സിലാവുന്നുണ്ടോ എന്നുള്ള രീതിയിൽ ഇവരെ നോക്കും, ഭാര്യനെ നോക്കും എന്നാണ് പറയുന്നത്. The men don't speak to me and I don't speak. Though she is there, she is not speaking anything. Though those men also won't speak anything to her also, but she can stay there and listen to their speeches. Even her husband is also supporting it. Husband also wants her to listen and understand. Okay, മനസ്സിലാവുന്നുണ്ടോ മക്കളെ? I believe that is clear. One of the things they talk about is organizing the people on the farms, the workers like my father and brother, and like his parents used to be. I learned what all these things are. Minimum wage. എന്തിനു വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് അവർ പ്രൊട്ടസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്, എന്തിനു വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് അവർ മൂവ്മെൻറ്റ് ഉണ്ടാക്കുന്നത്? ബിക്കോസ് ദേ വാണ്ട് ടു ഗെറ്റ് മിനിമം വേജ്, ലിമിറ്റേഷൻ ഓഫ് വർക്കിംഗ് hours, the right to strike, annual leave, accident compensation, pension, sick and even maternity leave. I am pregnant. At last I have another child inside me. But that is women's business. When they talk about the big man, the old men, I know who these are. Our leaders are also back from prison. I told him about the child coming. He said, and this one belongs to a new country. He will build the freedom we have fought for. See? That means these people have become revolutionaries. Even she also tries to understand. She also understands those feelings, those sentiments. So one of the things they talk about is organizing. എന്താണ് ആദ്യത്തെ കാര്യം? Organizing people on the farms. അല്ലേ, എല്ലാവരും ഓർഗനൈസ് ചെയ്യണം, എല്ലാവരും ഒന്നായി വർക്ക് ചെയ്യണം. വർക്കേഴ്സ് ആയിക്കോട്ടെ, ഫാദർ, ബ്രദർ, എവ്രി വൺ ഷുഡ് all the workers should organize. And what do these workers organize for? Minimum wages, limitation of work. These are the demands. Minimum wage kittanam, limitation of working hours churukkanam, le, the right to strike, annual leave, itra leave annually venam, accident compensation, if anything happens during their work, that should be compensated, pensions, maternity leave, sick leave, all these are really important. See, pinanda varana, I am pregnant, yet another child is there inside me, le. And see the difference, a gradual growth ando aa kuttile. When they talk about the big man, the old man, see, when these people when talk using codes, le, പേരുകൾ പറയാതെ ബിഗ് മാൻ, ഓൾഡ് മെൻ എന്നൊക്കെ പറയുമ്പോൾ ഷീ അണ്ടർസ്റ്റാൻഡ്സ്, ഓക്കെ, എന്താണ് ആ ബിഗ് മാൻ, ആരാണ് ആ ഓൾഡ് മെൻ എന്നൊക്കെ മനസ്സിലാവുന്നത്, ബിക്കോസ് ഷീ വാസ് ദെയർ ഇൻ ദ ഡിസ്കഷൻ ഫോർ എ ലോങ് ടൈം. Understood? And when she told his man that okay, she is pregnant എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ എന്താ പറയുന്നത്, this child is going to be born in a new country of freedom. ഈ സ്ട്രൈക്കെല്ലാം കഴിഞ്ഞ്, പ്രൊട്ടസ്റ്റ് എല്ലാം കഴിഞ്ഞ്, റെവല്യൂഷണറി മൂവ്മെൻറ്റ് കഴിഞ്ഞ് ഫ്രീഡം കിട്ടുന്ന സമയത്തേക്കാണ് ഈ കുട്ടി ജനിക്കാൻ പോകുന്നത്. ദാറ്റ് മീൻസ് ദിസ് മാൻ ഈസ് റിയലി ഇൻ ടു ദാറ്റ് ഫ്രീഡം, or freedom for that country. Okay. There was hardly time for him to make the child. He comes to me just like he comes here to eat a meal or put on clean clothes. Then he picks up the little girl and swings her around, and there it's done. He is getting into the combat. It means he has become so busy. He has become so busy. He doesn't have enough time to be with his family, to take care of a pregnant wife or play with the child. He is already turning into his comrade, that face of his that knows only what is inside his head, those eyes that move quickly as if he is chasing something you can't see. That means he is always involved in thoughts. He has become a very serious comrade, a very serious revolutionary. മനസ്സിലായി, ഒരുപാട് മാറ്റങ്ങൾ വന്നു, ഒന്നിനും സമയമില്ല. ആ മുഖത്ത് എന്താണെന്നുള്ളത്, മനസ്സിനകത്ത് എന്താണെന്നുള്ളതെന്ന് മുഖത്ത് മനസ്സിലാകുന്നില്ല. The little girl hasn't had time to get used to this man, but I know she'll be proud of him. And the little girl didn't get enough time to spend uh, time with father, so she hasn't ever understood her father completely. But this girl is telling, South African girl is telling, I mean, woman is telling, ശരിയാണ് പക്ഷെ ഒരു നാളിൽ my daughter will be proud of her father, proud of my man. How can you tell that to a child 6 years old? But I tell her about the big man and the old men, our leaders, so she'll know that her father was with them on the island. This man is a great man too. So whatever this woman knows, അതെല്ലാം ഈ കുട്ടിയുടെ അടുത്ത് 6 വയസ്സുള്ള കുട്ടിയുടെ അടുത്തും പറയും, because she should be proud of her father. She should understand that her father is there in that revolutionary movement. Okay. On Saturday, no school, and I planned and weed with my mother. She sings, but I don't. I think on Sunday there is no work, only prayer meetings out of the farmer's way, under the trees and the beer drinks at the mud and tin huts where the farmer allow us to squat on their land. I go off on my own as I used to do when I was a child, making up games and talking to myself when no one would hear me or look for me. I sit on a warm stone in the late afternoon. See, so it means these are their routine, Sunday routine, Saturday routine ഒക്കെ എന്താണെന്നാണ് പറയുന്നത്. ഓൺലി ഓക്കെ നമ്മുടെ സാറ്റർഡേസ് നമ്മുടെ വീക്കെൻഡ്സ് പോലെ തന്നെ ലഡാജിക്കാണ്. High up, and the whole valley is a path between the hills leading away from my feet. It is a horse farm, but that's not true. It belongs to nobody. The cattle don't know that anyone says he owns it. The sheep, they are grey stones, and they become a thick grey snake moving. Don't know. Our huts and the old mulberry tree and the little brown mat of earth that my mother dug over yesterday. Way down there, the way over there, the clump of trees, round the chimneys and the shiny thing that is the TV mast of the farmhouse, they are nothing on the back of this earth. It could twitch them away like a dog does a fly. That means these people don't own anything. ഒന്നും ഓൺ ചെയ്യുന്നില്ല, ഒന്നും സ്വന്തമായിട്ടില്ല. Okay, the cattle don't know that anyone says he owns it. ഓക്കെ, ഈ കാറ്റലിന് അറിയുന്നില്ല, ഷീപ്പിന് അറിയുന്നില്ല, അവർക്കൊന്നും അറിയുന്നില്ല അവരാരാണ് ഓൺ ചെയ്യുന്നത്. ഈവൻ ദീസ് ബ്ലാക്ക് സൗത്ത് ആഫ്രിക്കൻ പീപ്പിൾ ഓൾസോ, ദേ ഡോണ്ട് ഓൺ എനിത്തിങ്. Our huts, old mulberry tree and the little brown mat of earth that my mother dug over yesterday. All these things are nothing because these are not ours. ഇതൊന്നും ഞങ്ങളുടെ അല്ല. It could twitch them away like a dog does a fly. ഒരു ഫ്ലൈ വന്ന് അവരുടെ ഡോഗിൻ്റെ മുകളിലിരിക്കുമ്പോൾ ഡോഗ് ഇങ്ങനെ ആട്ടി ഫ്ലൈനെ കളയുന്നത് പോലെ all these things can be twitched away. I am with the clouds. The sun behind me is changing the colors of the sky, and the clouds are changing themselves slowly. Some are pink, some are white, swelling like bubbles. Underneath is a bar of grey, not enough to make rain. It gets longer and darker. It grows a thin snout and long body, and then the end of it is a tail. There is a huge grey rat moving across the sky, eating the sky. The child remembered the photo. She said, "That is not him. I am sitting here where I came often when he was on the island. I came to get away from the others, to wait by myself." Okay, that means he has gone. ഇവർ ഇതുപോലെ മൂമെൻറ്റിൽ പോയിട്ടുണ്ട്, but he hasn't come back. So she is waiting like anything. ഐലൻഡിൽ പോയിപ്പോൾ വെയിറ്റ് ചെയ്ത് അതേ സ്ഥലത്ത് വന്നിരുന്ന് she is waiting. Okay, I'm watching the rat. It's losing itself, its shape, eating the sky, and I'm waiting. Means what? ഒന്നും അല്ലാത്ത രീതിയിൽ, എവിടേക്കും അല്ലാത്ത രീതിയിൽ ഈ വുമൻ നോക്കിക്കൊണ്ടിരിക്കുക. She was watching a rat, and then she looked into the sky. She looked nowhere, I should tell. എവിടേക്കോ നോക്കിയിരിക്കുക. I'm waiting for him to come back. I'm waiting to come back home. So she slowly understands, okay, this is a situation in Africa. We don't own anything. We are nothing. We want, or at least she wants him to come back. and to achieve freedom from all these kinds of captivation, slavery. Get out. But she is waiting for him to come back, or she is waiting for him to come back to achieve freedom, or to acquire freedom, to help achieve freedom, to help acquire freedom for the entire black Africans. Okay, so this is the last paragraph. Like remember, you should understand the growth in that mental process of that girl, how immature she was, and slowly she grew to be a mature girl to understand the real situation happening in South Africa and the helpless situation of these people, which they do every work but they don't anything. Understood? And slowly she understands how important is the presence of a man in this island. I'm sorry, in this country. So she is waiting for him to come back. Okay, my dear students.